Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast, the show that'll leave you empowered to take action towards becoming the turned up version of your already awesome self. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's go. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of the Mindset Mile podcast. This episode is for the people pleasers. Do you ever find yourself going out of your way to do something for someone else, even if it means putting your own needs aside? I'm pretty sure we've all been there at some point, okay? And depending on what the situation is, doing this sometimes is necessary, or you want to do it, and you want to make someone else happy, and that's completely fine. That is our human nature. We enjoy giving and doing things for others that make them happy. But doing it consistently or constantly can start to feel very frustrating because it leaves you with your own needs that there is no time or energy left to meet. There are needs of yours that are unmet by doing this all the time. The habit of people pleasing can even lead you to lose trust in what you truly want, which will show itself in feelings of low self-worth, irritation, or resentment. And I also have news for you. You're not the only one being a people pleaser affects. It can sometimes weaken relationships due to the lack of trust and follow through. One of my good friends in college was a people pleaser. And one of the most telling signs of it was how she would commit to things before she thought about if it was something she actually wanted to do or even could do with her schedule or whatever. So we lived together for a while. So naturally, I was inviting her to things. Like I asked if she would join me in doing things like going for a run or making a trip to the grocery store, or even if it was plans like making or grabbing dinner with some friends, like whatever the thing was. Most of the time, she would commit like pretty enthusiastically. Like there was no way that she wasn't going to not do the thing. It was always like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Or like, yeah, oh my gosh, perfect. I've been wanting to go for a run. Like perfect. Like that time works for me, right? Like this kind of over agreeing. And I kid you not, like 8 or maybe 9 times out of 10, she would bail like right before whatever it was, and would have some excuse as to why she couldn't go. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that the opposite of people pleasing? Like if she didn't go and couldn't do it or didn't want to do it, she just didn't go. Whatever her reason was for not going is truly her business. Be it that she didn't want to or that she legitimately couldn't go anymore. But it was really annoying. And over time, we all just kind of started to expect that when she was agreeing to something or was saying yes to something, that she actually just meant no. We would be like, okay, so she's not coming. And while sometimes these commitments were very surface level that she'd flake on, there were, of course, more meaningful or important things that she would also bail on. And it led to feeling like she just wasn't a very honest or trustworthy friend. And I don't know about you, but especially now in this chapter of my life, I do not have, nor do I make the time for flaky or untrustworthy people. That does not mean that things, of course, do not come up last minute that you can't attend or that you can't do that you said you were going to do. But those things would be the exception and not the rule. It may be unbeknownst to them that this habit of overcommitting or pseudo-committing is a telltale sign of being a people pleaser, because deep down, it probably comes from a deep desire to want to be liked or to avoid conflict or want to fit in, even if that means agreeing with someone that they don't actually agree with. But this habit is really unhealthy. It often breeds frustration and anxiety. Can you relate? So to help you correct some of your people-pleasing tendencies, I want to give you 3 clear and simple ways you can help yourself. One is set clear boundaries. If you don't know what your boundaries are, then chances are you aren't going to be clear on what you should say yes or no to. I was having this exact conversation with my good friend just the other day, who chronically overcommits. She's the yes gal, and she commits to all these things and then suffers from overwhelm and anxiety. And I told her to think of her boundaries like pillars. What are the 5 pillars of her life that are a priority? So here is an example, okay? Maybe your pillars are family time, work, physical/mental wellness, volunteering, and passion project. So when opportunities or invitations come up, do they fit into these 5 pillars? Any of them? If yes, then committing to doing whatever the thing is aligns with your top priorities in how you should and want to be spending your time and energy. If no, then it should be easier to identify that they fall outside of those pillars, and it's probably not something you need to or should spend your time and energy on. So, what are your pillars? They might include social time or events, church, time spent alone, time spent outdoors. I don't know what they are for you. Truly, you need to think about what they are and write them down so you can see them and become very clear on what they are. Your pillars are what keep your world spinning, and hopefully they make you very happy and fulfilled. And those are your boundaries. Guard them. When you know them, it becomes very easy to see what falls inside or outside of them. Therefore, it becomes easier to say yes or no to things. For those who embrace the impossible, the Defender 110 is up for the adventure. This iconic vehicle has been redefined with thoroughly modern design, both on the interior and exterior, with integrity and robust materials. With added innovations like the intuitive driver display, an award-winning infotainment system, and extra cargo capacity for your gear, the Defender 110 lets you go further and do more. Whether you're a family of 2 or have added to your gang, your adventures await. The Defender family features the 2-door Defender 90, the Defender 110, and the Defender 130, which seats up to 8. Learn more at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender. You guys know by now, I'm obsessed with my Cozy Earth bed sheets, but I feel like I haven't given enough attention to how comfortable and luxurious their loungewear is. Their pajamas and waffle bathrobes make every day at home feel elevated. And as a busy mom of 2, those small moments and experiences fill me up and make me really happy. They're all made from temperature regulating fabrics, but still maintain a stylish and elegant fit. It honestly doesn't surprise me at all that Cozy Earth products have made Oprah's favorite things list for 5 years in a row. This Valentine's Day, the perfect gift for anyone is the gift of everyday luxury. Shop for your loved ones or indulge on yourself this Valentine's Day with 35% off site-wide when you use the code MindsetMile. Number 2, prioritize your needs. Prioritizing your needs does not make you a selfish person. And I'd also like to remind you that nobody cares about your mental health and well-being more than you do. Let that sink in for a second, okay? Nobody cares about your mental health and well-being more than you do. Not your husband, not your wife, not your mom, not your therapist, your mentor, not your best friend. They will care a lot, but not more than you. So you need to be the advocate for your needs. And I just also want to say, there is and should be plenty of times in your day and in your entire life where you put others before yourself. Selflessness is a beautiful quality, but it should not be confused with the importance of taking care of yourself as well. It doesn't serve anyone very well if you're operating from a place of burnout, resentment, low self-esteem, or irritation. Get clear on what your needs look like on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. Here's a quick example of what that might look like. Daily, you need 10 minutes to meditate, journal, or maybe 60 minutes to exercise and move your body. Weekly, you need an hour carved out to meet with your life coach, your mentor, or your therapist. Monthly, you need a date night with your significant other or a night out with the girls. Yearly, you need a vacation to fully disconnect, unplug, and reset, even if that just means taking time off work and not going anywhere. Nobody cares about your well-being more than you do. So don't be uncomfortable protecting for it and planning for it. And 3, think before you commit. Do you get uncomfortable when someone asks you to do something or invites you to an event when you're not sure if you can or can't go, so you just say yes and then you end up backing out later? I'm not sure where it was written that we need to give answers or respond to invitations right away, but instead of blurting out, "Yeah, I think I can make that work," or "Sure, I can do that," when you might not actually be able to, or you can't, or you don't even really want to. Pause for a quick second and check in with yourself. And instead of saying that, say, "You know what? Let me get back to you on that." No further explanation needed. Like, actually, you do not need more of an explanation than that. You don't need to explain why you need to get back. Maybe it's because you need to check your calendar. Maybe it's because you need to check the family schedule. Maybe because you need to check in with yourself and ask, is this a place I really want to go, or people that I actually want to hang out with? For whatever the reason, you can get back to that person and either call them or text them with whether or not that works for you. Thinking before you commit might take some practice, but I promise you it will feel way better and easier than backing out because you jumped the gun and just said yes. Nobody minds waiting for an answer if it's not something that's urgent. It's not uncomfortable for them to wait. It is just for you for some reason. But the better you get at this, the more comfortable you will become at waiting before you respond. That is it. That's all I have for you. And I really hope that you take these 3 points and write them down, think about them, and actually start practicing them so you can guard your peace, guard your pillars, and make time for all of the important things in your life. Most importantly, yourself. Because you always hear me say this, but you cannot fill from an empty cup. Tag me on social so I can see which episodes you're loving. You can find me at Aisha Zaza. And if you haven't yet, when you're done with this episode, please just give it a quick 5-star rating or even a quick review. That helps so many people find the podcast and topics that they want, just like this one. I will see you next week, my friend. And until then, make it a great day.